England urged to call out Qatar's record on human rights during World Cup. England's players have been urged to call out human rights violations in Qatar ahead of the World Cup. The Three Lions secured their place in next year's finals with a 10-0 win against San Marino on Monday night, with Gareth Southgate saying he and his squad would educate themselves in the coming months. But they faced immediate calls from Amnesty International to use their platform in the build-up to the tournament. The organization insists migrant workers in Qatar still endure unacceptable conditions that put their lives in jeopardy as well as threaten their liberty. England's players are yet to decide upon what type of stand they may take, having so publicly backed the fight against racism and discrimination in the wake of the death of George Floyd. Individual players have also demonstrated their social conscience, with Marcus Rashford lobbying the government to provide free school meals to underprivileged children, earning an MBE in the process, and Jordan Henderson helping to raise £4 million for the NHS during the coronavirus pandemic. Holland, Norway, and Germany have all made protests ahead of the World Cup, and Amnesty International wants England to follow suit, calling on the FA, Southgate and his players to act. The organization's UK CEO, Satya Deshmukh, said, "The exploitation of Qatar's massive migrant workforce has already cast a dark shadow over next year's World Cup, and the FA ought to use the remaining year until kick-off to push for lasting labour reforms in Qatar." The FA is part of the UEFA Working Group on Workers' Rights in Qatar and can press the Doha authorities over strengthening migrant worker protections, investigating worker deaths and helping to fashion a tournament with a genuinely positive legacy. It's more important than ever that England's coaching staff, players and supporters raise human rights issues ahead of next year's kick-off. Southgate said, "I've been in some conversations as part of an FA delegation with people from Qatar. So I've been trying to get a better understanding of exactly the situation. I think we'll obviously take the time to inform the players a bit more about what's going on. We have to be certain on who we should be speaking to and exactly what issues are important, because it feels as if there are a lot. And it's a very complicated situation for us, because we obviously have to go and work with people and represent the country in a foreign land, and when you're doing that you've got to be 100% sure of your facts when you're speaking. And that's not easy at the moment, because it's hard to work through what's current, what's present, what's historic. We have a responsibility to represent our country in the right way. There are clear cultural differences between the two nations. And also we, as a nation, do a lot of business with Qatar as well." I was reading about Rolls-Royce, 10,000 new jobs, heavy investment from Qatar into green machinery and a way of working. So it is hugely complex. But we will take the time to educate ourselves. And if we feel that there are areas that we can highlight and help, then clearly we've always tried to do that, and we would do that. Amnesty claimed that despite a number of reforms in Qatar, working conditions for migrants remain a major problem as the state enters the final year of preparations for the World Cup. A long-standing issue is the kafala system, which allows individuals or companies to sponsor migrant workers and control their employment and immigration status. Borussia Mönchengladbach protest in October. Amnesty described Qatar's labor system as exploitative, claiming abusive practices have resurfaced despite promises of reform. Despite laws passed last year to remove restrictions on migrants leaving the country or changing jobs, workers still complain of their human rights being violated. Amnesty has also raised concerns about the death of thousands of migrant workers due to unsafe working conditions. Mark Dummett, Amnesty's Global Issues Program Director, said, "The clock is ticking, but it's not too late to turn the ink on paper into real action. Now is the time for the Qatari authorities to be bold and fully embrace their program of labor reforms. Any progress to date will be wasted if Qatar settles for weak implementation of policies and fails to hold abusers to account." Apparent complacency by the authorities is leaving thousands of workers at continued risk of exploitation by unscrupulous employers, with many unable to change jobs and facing wage theft. They have little hope of remedy, compensation, or justice. After the World Cup, the fate of the workers who remain in Qatar will be even more uncertain. England defender Conor Coady revealed this week that the players would discuss the issues in Qatar going forward. He said, "An incredible thing that comes out of this England squad is that people try to make a difference all the time. People are trying to use that platform. If there is any way players can help, I am sure we as part of the England setup will try to do that." Qatar are believed to have spent in the region of £5 billion to stage the World Cup. It is still in the process of completing the stadia to host the event, while there have been recent concerns raised over its ability to accommodate all the fans expected to descend on the tournament.